Alright, Murder. You're alive, brother. What up, peeps? Rock my house. Sure, I'll be back. Alright, so Murder brought to attention some differences between the CDMAs and the GSM phone services. So we were going to talk about that today. So, I picked up two different articles. One article Murder put up, which was the original, talk through, which was from PC Magazine, and the other one is from Digital Trends, and it's a more recent look at the differences between the cellular standard, the cellular standards, the cell phone standards of the GSM and the CDMA. We all know that we have cell phones, and cell phones work a certain way, and sometimes you can't take a phone with you because you just can't take it with you because the other carrier doesn't use it. But then there's other carriers who do use that phone, or are able to use that phone for you. So, excuse me. There's going to be part of what we're going to talk about today is the reasoning behind why some people can't, some people can't. Just use your phone that you already have. Murder, what was your reasoning behind picking this particular one?
Like what made me come across the article?
Well, just you wanted to talk about it, so I didn't know if there was like you were thinking about it.
I thought it was kind of interesting. Mainly, I mean, I came across it because I was looking up cell phones on Amazon, and I noticed some of them were GSM only, some of them were CDMA plus GSM, and I was like, honestly, I don't know what the difference is. So I started Googling, searching around, and I found this article, and it was the most interesting of the ones that I had read as far as it explained it pretty well.
Yes, and that was the one that you found on PC Magazine.
Yes.
And the article goes on to state that CDMA stands for Code Division Multiple Access, and the GSM stands for Global System for Mobiles. They're, as they say here, both of them are the signals that you receive to your phones. One being one being the other. Like you said, there are some that use CDMA and GSM, and those particular ones you can use pretty much any phone with that carrier. And here in the United States, our four biggest cellular companies are Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, and AT&T. Those are our four biggest. And AT&T and T-Mobile both use GSM, whereas Sprint and Verizon both use CDMA. And according to Verizon, they're going to be working with getting away from the CMDA and going to the GSM, which is then going to put Sprint all by itself, all on its lonesome, over here in CDMA. So, what was it that you took away from the article, like in just a roundabout differences of the two?
The main thing was the reason I was looking is to see what the difference is, see if there's one that's better than the other, and see if it made a difference as to what company used what, or if they both did. My main thought was I need one that uses a SIM card because I have T-Mobile, my family does, so it needs to be able to run a SIM card. So reading the article, come to find out, GSM is the one that uses SIM cards. CDMA does not. They're usually your your for a simple explanation, your IP address, or for people that know what a MAC address is, the MAC address of your device is built into the phone um, on CDMA, whereas GSM uses SIM cards. All your information and how you connect to the network is on the SIM card, not the phone, which is why you can switch SIM cards to another phone and you still have your phone number and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it's
So I was looking for one that ran GSM because that's what T-Mobile runs, and I needed one that would use a SIM card.
yes, because you were going to buy outside of and then just use it for your phone through T-Mobile, right?
Yeah, because you can go on places like Amazon. I trust more, and then you go to eBay. You just have to be careful who you pick from. But you can get phones from places like that way cheaper than just going into the phone store and telling them, hey, I want an iPhone 7. You're gonna pay $700, $800, $900 at the phone store at your carrier than if you were to go on Amazon or eBay, where eBay, I found a reputable seller that's got over 200,000 sales and 4.5-star rating. So I trust that seller. That has, for instance, what I was looking for is the iPhone 7 Plus. They have for $459, 256 gig capacity for $459, which you're paying at least $800 if you were to go to your phone carrier. So, I mean, I don't know. For me, it's always cheaper to go to, a third party such as Amazon or eBay to buy your phones. Now, I've said in the show before, I use the Blue Phones BLU, um, which I love. They run great. Many different options to choose from, different phones, huge selection. They have both GSM and CDMA phones, so.
Ooh, excuse me. Got it. Sneeze coming on. Okay, sorry.
But yeah, that was the reason for me looking up that article, is to find out which one I really needed. Come to find out it's GSM, which also come to find out GSM. So short history on the two of them for everybody. GSM came out first. Um, it was way back in the old days when it was. If you read through the article, there's another. If you read through the one that I posted, there is a
history on it.
There's a link towards the bottom that shows the difference in the G technologies, 3G, 4G, stuff like that. So the G's are generations. So you got third generation, fourth generation cellular or data networks is what they stand for. So way back in the day, GSM started first. GSM was 1G. That's pretty much if people remember, when you looked at your phone, you just had a signal, or maybe it just said E. For most phone carriers explained it as enhanced. Um, and from there it went 2G, which was the EV. I think it would show up on your phone as EV. And then you had 3G, and then 4G LTE. But GSM was first. CDMA came out, and it was faster than GSM, more stable, which is why at the time Verizon and Sprint went with those, because it was a faster, more stable technology. It is Qualcomm based. As far as the stuff for their towers, the hardware portion of how you connect to their cellular network, their towers and stuff, it's all Qualcomm based. It's actually proprietary to Qualcomm. which is good. Qualcomm's a great company. They make great stuff, microprocessors, all sorts of cool shit. Eventually, GSM caught up with it. GSM actually surpassed CDMA, became better, became faster. But the expense, when you read the article, it says the expense that it would have cost for like Verizon and Sprint to switch over was more than they wanted to pay. So T-Mobile and AT&T were already on GSM, so they surpassed them for a little bit until the 4G came out.
Yeah, the LTE.
4G hit first, then the LTE.
Yeah.
LTE is a newer technology than just 4G alone. LTE is kind of an add-on to the 4G network. But the CDMA and GSM had come out with, if you read through it, said T-Mobile and AT&T has when it was just 3G, they had improved to, I'm trying to remember, I'm not looking at the article. I believe it was called the HSPA Plus.
Hold on, let me look. I got the article right here. So, let's see. What did you call it?
HSPA Plus. I'm going to pull it up so I can find out how far down it was.
Yeah, I started at the bottom and worked my way
up. So going back, and here's this part here. So you had your E, and then you had your EV, which was 1G, 2G. Then you had your 3G. 3G had 3G GSM. Oh, I'm still trying to find this thing now.
Here, what the SVDO is the simultaneous voice and data optimization, and
that's with GSM.
Yes, and the 3G CDMA uses EVDO, which is an evolution data optimized, where you can make phone calls, but you can't transmit data at the same time. Whereas with the GSM, you can.
That was back in the early days. Now they have, if you read a little more, it shows where they show the WCDMA, which is a wideband CDMA, which allows for data transfer and phone calls. So it was basically, we're separating these into Verizon and Sprint versus AT&T and T-Mobile, which is pretty much what it was, because it was a clear cut down the middle. These two had this, these two had this. So it was a competition between the technologies at that point. WCDMA allowed them to have what T-Mobile and AT&T already had. With the GSM, there it is. The GSM governing body released extensions called HSPA, which have sped GSM networks up to as fast as 42 megabits per second.
I see what you're reading now.
CDMA networks, meanwhile, were stuck at 3.6 megabits per second. So GSM, once they hit the 3G technology, CDMA had WCDMA. GSM ended up coming up with HSPA, and now HSPA Plus, because there are still some phones that only run 3G, won't run 4G, but they've increased the 3G networks to run the HSPA Plus that they have nowadays. So then they came out with 4G, then 4G LTE, LTE standing for long-term evolution, which Sprint did come out with first. Now others, everybody's pretty much adopted the 4G LTE.
Yeah.
Which allows you to do data and phone calls. It's a lot faster. So it all comes down to the technology. Like it started, Verizon started with the newer technology because GSM was first. It was older. But now the article also goes to explain, which I found interesting. Qualcomm having sole proprietorship over CDMA caused it to be a little more expensive hardware wise. The hardware to run it costs more. So it costs more money to expand your network, to grow towers, all this stuff, which Verizon had the money to do because they charge you an arm and a leg, so everybody's walking around crooked all the time.
Yeah.
But GSM, because it wasn't proprietary to one company like Qualcomm, the technology, the hardware could be built out of a variety of components. It took it longer to catch up, but once it did, because it was cheaper, it surpassed it. Because mainly it makes researching, developing, and improving the technology for GSM easier because you can have a whole bunch of different companies researching and experimenting with how to make it better. Whereas with CDMA, Qualcomm is the only company that's going to research and make it better. So you're stuck waiting on one guy to try to make it better instead of multiple guys competing to see who can make the best one.
Now, SIM cards also make it easier for you to change carriers when it comes to SIM cards.
Yeah, change carriers, change phones.
Whereas CDMAs do not. You're pretty much locked in unless they go in and change something that is strictly for them out. I don't know exactly what it's called that they do to it, but they basically have got to turn it off so that somebody else can turn it on.
Yeah, so for a lot of people that may be watching, a lot of people that watch us are gamers. They understand the whole. A lot of them understand the whole server thing, server setup, how game servers run. So CDMA not using SIM cards. All right, your ID, think of it as your Steam ID, that long ass 16-digit number that's not your name, but it's who you are. Your ID on CDMA is built into the phone. So what these companies do, and this article explains this, which is why I like this article because it went into pretty good detail on how this stuff works. CDMA uses a whitelist for authorization on networks. Not a phone number, not anything else. It's this identification number that's built into this phone that you can't change, remove, or swap to another phone is put into a whitelist. When you turn your phone on and it tries to connect to a tower, it says, hey, you're on our list, just like whitelisting people in a server. Only those people can join. Only these people can connect to our cell phone network. But the problem is, like you were saying, you can't swap phones. You've got to go to your cell phone company, pay them for another phone to swap phones. Or then if the phone you want isn't one that they run, then you're just out of luck. You can't have that phone unless you switch carriers, which is kind of screwed up. Now, with SIM cards, your ID, your Steam ID, if you want to look at it that way, your ID is built into a SIM card, not the phone. So I can take my SIM card out, stick it in Grimm's phone. People can call my phone number and his phone will ring because now that's my phone. The cell phone company doesn't know what you have, which is another thing this article explains. With CDMA, the cell phone companies have control of your phone. They know what phone you have, what options it has. And to me, that's kind of nosy, honestly. SIM card companies, T-Mobile, AT&T, they don't know what phone you have. They don't care what phone you have. They care that you have a SIM card. That SIM card tells them what services you have with them. No whitelist. And that's all they control. So I can put my SIM card in Grimm's phone. As far as they know, that's my phone because the SIM card changed to another phone. And then I can take it out and put my SIM card in my daughter's phone. And now her phone rings when you call me. So it makes it a lot easier to switch phones. Like, hey, I don't like this phone. That guy's got a cool phone. I want one like it. You go buy it, slap your SIM card in. Good to go. You don't have to ask your carrier, do you guys support this phone?
Or you just go over, you knock him on the head, take his phone, take his SIM card out, put your SIM card in, and it's mine now. Just saying. Now, all in all, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, you want to choose a carrier who's going to be someone that's going to work for you. The price of the packages, the phone that you're going to use, all of that. That's how you choose your carrier. If the price is right, then that's where you're going to go. It doesn't matter if it's AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, Sprint. You're going to go with that particular carrier because the GSM and the CDMA really are not going to affect everyday users in a way that is dramatic. You know what I mean? It's just going to be, do you like AT&T? Do you like Sprint? Do you like Verizon? Do you like T-Mobile? That's what it boils down to.
Nobody likes Sprint.
Well, nobody likes Verizon either because their cable sucks.
Even Sprint owners don't like Sprint.
Can you hear me now? Guy does because they gave him a job.
Yeah. Now the other thing to think about, because you were saying, it really doesn't affect everyday people, which one, CDMA or GSM, which it doesn't for the most part. But for me, you also got to think, do you want to be able to switch phones whenever you want to any phone? Now, keep in mind that a lot of phones that are quote unquote only for Verizon or only for Sprint aren't really. You can go find Amazon and eBay. You can go find phones that you look in their description for unlocked. And they can be used on other carriers. A lot of them are, like if you have, Verizon pretty much has a lockdown on all the Moto phones, right? From Motorola.
Well, Sprint does too. Sprint has their foot in the door with Motorola as well, but Verizon got a bigger foot than Sprint though, because I had Sprint, and I had Sprint back when the candy bar phones were the it thing to have with the push to talk with honey, what was the name of that company you worked for? Nextel. Nortel. It was Nortel at the time. Before it became Nextel, it was Nortel. And I had the push to talk, situation. And it helped me with my drivers because my drivers had the phones because I bought them each phones with their trucks. So they had an ability to contact me any time of the day with a push of a button. And it was just great. And nowadays, when you talk about candy bar phones, people are like, oh, those are trash, those are this, those are that. You know what? Sometimes those candy bar phones work a lot better than some of these damn smartphones. Just saying.
That was Grimm's side rant for the day.
That's the first of today. There will be more.
That's the only one we're letting him have.
So I'm just going to take the next one.
So, back on topic.
It was topic.
I was trying to, yeah, before you went off on eating candy phones or some shit.
I know, it's before your time. You're such a young pup.
Oh no, I had those phones. Hell, I had fucking bag phones, dude, when they came
out.
out.
I love those phones, man.
But yeah, I never honestly understood the point of Nextel. It was a gimmick. You push a button, you get a hold of somebody, and that person's got to accept you pushing it and push their button and talk back. So why not just call them? Ring, ring. Hey, dude, what's up?
Same thing. The thing was, if you had a weak signal for your cell phone, this is behind why they did it. If you had a weak signal, you could still get out a message to talk to somebody using the Nextel.
Well, I had like a text too with a weak cell phone signal.
I don't know, candy bar phones you couldn't. But nowadays, there's that one app that's like the Nextel push to talk. There's this one. It's the one big one that they have out there. During the last hurricane that really screwed us up down here, we ended up getting it on our phones so that we were able to contact people because our cell phones weren't working.
What's it called?
Let me turn my phone back on because it died. I just plugged it in.
Oh, must not be that big. You can't remember what it's called. But I mean, I'm saying there's like 50 apps like that because there really is. You can get a fucking Facebook Messenger. You can do that to people. You FaceTime with Apple phones. You Discord on your phone.
The phone that I got, this one right here, it actually stated right down at the bottom, Qualcomm Snapdragon. One of their newer platforms that they use. So, this is a Qualcomm phone, basically.
The processor on it's Qualcomm.
Well, I mean, Qualcomm used to make some of the best phones on the market, next to Motorola.
Yeah, but that's what the Qualcomm Snapdragon is. It's a microprocessor. Yeah.
And then they have the Qualcomm satellite systems,
which are way better than the other shit that's out there.
Yeah, it is. It really, really is. I mean, if I could afford a Qualcomm satellite phone, I'd be on it, brother. The phone.
Oh, I was talking about
they're in the trucks too, but I'm talking about the sat phones themselves, where they're really nice.
Fuck that. I mean, unless you're gonna be like Grim and go move out to Montana for some fucking reason, you don't need one.
Move out to Montana where you ain't got to worry about nobody's bullshit.
Yeah, see, go be by yourself.
Zello. Zello. Yeah.
Zello sounds like Jello.
Yes, I know. But it's called Zello, and you can log into it, and once you've logged into it, it tells you who else is in your area, or that you contacted, who's part of your contacts. And I got Sergi, I got my one son, and I got my sister, and a couple of other people on here. And then there's different channels that you can look at of what is out there. You can actually use it for other things in emergencies. Apparently there's groups out there on these channels and stuff, but it's the same thing pretty much as what Nortel or Nextel had.
Yeah, it's the same as Discord and TeamSpeak. Just download those to your phone. Either way, it requires a signal to be able to use it.
Yes, but it doesn't require a perfect signal to use it.
Well, no, it uses data. It doesn't use your cellular signal. It uses data. So you either need Wi-Fi or a data signal.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is your data signal could be 3G, or it could be 2G. It could be whatever. It still runs on those.
With data, yeah. That's what I'm saying. If you don't have a data signal, then it's no good. I mean, that's the same as running Discord or TeamSpeak or Facebook Messenger on your phone.
I know this is off topic, but here, right when that happened, the hurricane happened here, the company used to be Bright House. It's now Spectrum. Actually broadcasted a Wi-Fi signal all throughout the whole, the county of Pasco County where we live. And everybody had a signal of some type through Wi-Fi, because it was one that just you could log right into it without having any kind of information or anything. Just pick it up, say connect, and you're connected to it. So I thought that was actually kind of cool, but that still doesn't make up for their price and their garbage internet.
I like their internet
when it works.
Mine works all the time. Unless it don't pay the bill. It's the only time it don't work.
Every time it goes down, they keep telling me it's my equipment, it's my computers, or it's this, or it's that. And then I have to jump their shit and tell them, no, it's your guys' bullshit. And then I take them outside, and I tell them, look at that stupid box up there that's open. Fix it. And then they're like, oh yeah, it's our fault. Come in my house and tell me my computers are the problem.
That's what was it, Bell House you had before?
No. We had
White House, Bright House, and the Girls in Cups and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's That's them handing over shitty equipment to Spectrum is what it is.
Well, the equipment that Spectrum's using now is identical to the equipment that we had before.
Yeah, but I'm saying the Bright House apparently didn't take care of their shit.
Oh, Bright House. When I first got them, they actually ended up removing the box, the tap on the line, and replaced it completely, replaced the line coming to my house, and ran a dedicated line to my internet box, or my modem, and then ran a separate line for the cable and stuff. And they still had issues with everything, because they ended up going down the whole street and replacing from the main hub all the way down my street and into the next block, I believe, just to get the signal to clear up enough so that they can give me my 300 by, well, at the time I had 300 by 100. 100 upload speed, 300 download. And then when Spectrum took over, they said, oh, well, we can't give you that anymore because we don't offer that. And I'm like, but I paid for it. And they said, yeah, but we got a better price for this, that, and the other, and now I'm at 325. 300 download and 25 upload. And I pay more. So, fuckers. Anyway. Sorry, peeps. Not my fault. Murder started it.
It's all Grimm's fault.
Murder's fault.
He got a new tinfoil
hat. No, I didn't. I want one.
So, as I was saying, like 20 minutes ago, before Grimm got lost, for me, it's looking at what the GSM versus CDMA offers. I like the ability to be able to change phones whenever I want to not have to just buy a phone through my carrier. You have a whole lot more freedom with GSM. Plus, GSM is a worldwide technology. CDMA is really only in the U.S. So if you plan on traveling anywhere out of the country, off of North America, you're going to need GSM. All the other countries, it's actually mandated, required in Europe to have GSM. So if you plan on traveling, you're going to need a GSM phone.
Yep, and 10 of these. 10 of these.
A 10 of the cookies.
You have to have a 10 of those with the phone.
You could just go get some from the people that make it.
The Dutch?
Yeah. Just go travel over
there. Hey, I want some of those Royal Taste cookies, damn it. I know you all make them here. Don't quit hiding them on me. They're probably looking at you. They're probably looking at you going, what the hell are you talking about?
So, all right, everybody. So that's pretty much the GSM CDMA. There's more links that we have if anybody's interested in them that we can post or send to you. That explains, like I said, that article has a few links in it that explains the difference in 3G and 4G.
I mean, we could send those in, or we can, like, at the end of the show, we can just throw out those links and stuff like that and let everybody go from there if they want. Now, the next thing is Amazon Echo has got this really big update.
Echo.
On the 1st of February. It's got a big update. And the big kick in the teeth is you can't use your iPhone with Amazon Echo anymore.
And I've got to point out that it's a kick in the teeth, not a kick in the balls, because you don't have balls if you use Apple.
That's correct.
Just throwing that out there.
But your iPhone will be useless using the Amazon Echo with this update. They're always making Alexa more, not human quality like, but more AI.
Smarter.
They're making her smarter and making her smarter. I mean, they've gone as far as reprogramming her to not talk to you if you start talking any type of way of sexual or demeaning to her, and she comes back at you with a feministic mindset and won't talk to you after that. It's like, what? Yeah. It's a thing. Look it up.
Bitch, I paid for you. You better talk
right?
to me.
So anyway,
You're my bitch now.
So asking Amazon Echo speaker to send a message while shit, I can't read. Sorry. Asking an Amazon Echo speaker to send a message will automatically default to try sending a message through the Alexa app, which your recipient has to have installed, or else it will not work. So now you're going to be using your smartphone speaker to send regular old SMS text messages. It just turns it into words and sends it for you. So pretty much you're just going to be just like in that movie Wall-E. Those guys in the spaceship all sitting in their things, telling things what they want to do, and you're just going to do, it's not good.
Now, everybody knows I'm not a fan of Apple. I like to talk shit about them. If you own Apple, that's great. If you have balls, that's great. I don't want to see them. Everybody knows I don't like Apple that much. But in the defense of Apple, that's kind of messed up. As big as, all right, so you got to break cell phones down into two main groups: Apple and Android. That's really it. Windows lost their chance. They suck. Nobody wants them. But for somebody as big as Amazon to cut out all Apple products, that's kind of messed up.
But here's why Apple is being cut out. Apple will not release the API for their messengers.
Well, no, everything Apple is proprietary. It's closed-ended, which means they control every bit of it, and they won't release anything without you paying for it. Now, you can't. So the development kit, you can get the dev kit from Google for Android, develop your own apps free. They're like, here's everything you need to develop your own app, game, whatever, to put on our store. Apple, you have to buy their dev kit to develop an app. Which is why most of the apps and games on the Apple Store cost money when the same things don't cost on the Google Store, because they had to pay for the dev kit.
And they had to pay to have it put on there to get it to be published, because it's $99 to get it published. Because Searching and I were looking.
Yeah, which is another reason that I don't like Apple, because they're greedy.
Everybody's greedy.
I'm not greedy. I freely hate everybody the same.
I'm greedy.
Doesn't cost you anything for me not to like you.
I don't like sharing my cookies.
Oh, I ain't sharing my cookies now. I'll beat your ass over that.
Now Apple.
That's not greed though. That's just fat guy being hungry.
Now Apple has now started using the base design of Alexa and creating their new thing called HomePods, and it's going to be based on Siri's interactions on the iPhone to make this work. So Apple is now coming back saying, well, we've got this now. Well, guess what? It's proprietary iPhone only. If nobody has an iPhone, who's going to buy it? Only iPhone people.
True.
So they're not marketing to anybody else. They're only marketing to iPhone or Apple users only. Whereas Google and them, they're marketing to more than just that. It's just because Apple wants to be asked that it's not going to be on Apple.
Fuck Apple. They can't even give you a whole one. Somebody already bid out the damn thing.
Right?
Not paying for half-eaten food.
Damn straight. Now, anybody got anything they want to talk about as far as that is concerned? The Amazon Echo, Apple being douchebags. Anything? Bueller. Name that movie.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Great.
Like almost every Ferris Bueller movie.
Yeah, right.
It became so popular in the Day Off one that they almost put it in every one of them.
Especially with Bill Stein. You know, his monotone way of talking and all of that. They just really, that was his thing. Nobody else can match him. I'm sorry, you just can't do it. That's Bill Stein.
Did you ever see his trivia game show thing on TV?
Money. Yes.
Yeah, that was a good show. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
I didn't like television, but that I did like. I really did like that.
Yeah.
I really did like that. Okay, so we're gonna move on to gaming. Okay, peeps? Gaming.
No, gaming's so boring.
You've never gamed.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
I was gonna say everybody knows I'm
yeah,
lying
I know
on
it,
that
right?
one.
Okay, so it was brought to my attention by one of our viewers, Zags. He brought up that they're going to be getting rid of the artifact weapon. Now, I did some research, more than I normally do when I read patch notes on upcoming expansions. They are going to be using or retiring, they saying, of the artifact weapon, but they're not getting rid of the weapon. It's just basically going to be used for transmog and just to look pretty. That's it. That's all it's going to be used for. The powers of it are going to be gone.
Now you remember, I was gonna say, you remember though, like last week sometime, I brought that up. My nephew, who plays with us sometimes, he actually brought that up to me about a week ago, that he had read that the artifact weapons were going to be turned into skins, which sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, he brought up the point to me. You do all this work. You do all this work to get these artifact weapons and level them up, put all these points into them, and then all of a sudden, expansion comes out, and, it's like, oh, tough shit, you did all that for nothing.
Now, in place of that, they have now gone and done let me find the retirement video that they did. There is an actual retirement video for this.
Oh, so you have a retirement video?
I'm retiring, didn't you know?
Well, you live in Florida and you're old, so I figured, 2 and 2 together.
Suck my ass, murder. All right, so this is going to be the not so good version of it, but this is what it is. And it is a spoiler warning, so if you don't want to see it, turn away and plug your ears now. And by the way, there is no actual voices for this yet. They have not voiced it yet. That's why you don't hear them talking. Now that's just a part of it that is an incomplete, but that's just a part of what is going to happen to the weapons. And then the weapons after that are going to become corrupted. Once they're corrupted, then all of a sudden they're going to start falling apart. It's not going to be, they're going to be useless pretty much. For the Beastmasters, you're going to lose your pet that you get with your weapon. Even though you liked him so much, you're going to lose him. I'm kind of pissed about that myself.
No, not
yeah,
Fluffy.
I know, I love my Fluffy. And in fact, on one of the World of Warcraft deals, they were talking about, they have, let's see, who put it up on there? It might have been, I forgot who put it out there. One of the gaming websites like Wowhead and all that put out there that there is a petition going around for anybody who has, I believe his name is Heike, the lightning wolf that you get. I can't pronounce his damn name probably. H-A-T-I, so Hattie? Yeah. So they have a thing going around so that you can keep him. I doubt they're going to even listen to us, but, I signed it. And I will put a link to it as soon as I find it in the description. It'll be on Facebook and stuff like that. If you guys want to see the pet stay and be a pet that is given to the Beastmasters, then that'd be good. Now, they have written in here that the artifact weapon will be just that. It's just going to be a skin, just like Murder said. That's all it's going to be. There's going to be nothing more to it. They have the new thing that's going to take over for, it's called St. Patty's Edition. Open the link tab, that way I have it. But you're basically, like I said, you're going to lose everything when it comes to artifacts. All the work you put into it, you're going to lose it. It's all gone. You will be able to get, once they get rid of the legendary weapon, you get this legendary amulet. And the amulet,
which I was going to say, quick side note, because we didn't have this information last week. They do have a date for the release of the expansion now. They didn't have it last week, but they do have it now. It came out earlier this past week, September 21st.
Nice.
Day before my birthday.
Oh, damn.
So, if anybody, wants to give me a birthday present, hint, hint. I'm kidding. I'll have it pre-ordered before then.
Now, let's go from the top, work our way down with this. There is going to be a leveling revamp.
Oh, it's the best place to start.
Yeah, baby. When you're zone scaling, it's whatever your level is at is where that zone is going to scale up to. So if one person that's not in your party that is in the same area as you, and say they're level 50, level 60, that's what it's going to be for them. But for you, it's going to be 110 if you're a level 110. So they're going to be scaling a lot of areas like that. They are also going to do experience required to hit level 60 is going to be increased. So it's going to take more to get to level 60. It's going to be harder to get to level 60 because you're going to need more experience to get to that point. Now, heirlooms are going to be using less stats with lower level characters. And the mobs are going to have higher health pools, meaning they're going to be giving them more health. It's just going to be harder all the way around. And the low level flying training requirements are going to be streamlined. Basically, you're just going to be given at certain levels. I think it's level 40 or level 60. It's all given to you. You don't have to purchase it. You'll already have it. But then after that, I believe you have to pay for it. Now, all of the awakening essences that you have acquired, for every 1,000, you'll get one purified Titan essence. Titan essence is going to create the new legendary tokens that you're going to use for your characters to upgrade your armor. And Azurite is that metal or whatever they're calling it that's going to be used for that. So that's kind of cool to an extent. They're trying to offset the sting of getting rid of your ancient weapon and making all of your armor more powerful. So they're kind of taking away from the weapon, giving it to the armor. We'll see how well that works. PvE and PvP servers are going to the wayside. They are all going to be PvE servers. And in order for you to play PvP, you have to be flagged as PvP. And only those who are hardcore PvPers are going to stay flagged all the time. Those who are not, obviously, are not. Now, it was stated in they stated that they are going to give you more XP if you are in PvP mode than PvE for the same quests.
Which is bullshit.
And you get more gold. And you get more, pretty much of everything, including these Azurite drops. You'll get even more of that because you're in PvP. They have not said anything about that as of lately, but that is what was said at BlizzCon last year, and in a lot of the forum posts as well. Now, here, let me go down to it. The necklace is called the Heart of Azeroth, and that's going to be the new progression grinding that you're going to be doing is for the necklace. There are going to be random generated islands. If you're going to go to one of the islands, you're going to PvP or whatever on that particular island to get resources and stuff on there. You come back.
You said PvP on the island.
PvP on the island? Hell yeah. Go in the corner. Don't let them see you. Once you're on that island and you've completed it and you leave and it resets and you come back, it will change. The island configuration changes. That's their words, not mine. They're going to be changing it. It's going to be procedurally random generated. Is that the word? Procedural. Yeah.
Procedurally generated.
Yeah, and so it's going to be different every time you go back. Now, how different every time? Don't know if they haven't just randomized it. It's going to be a certain way, but there are going to be 3 islands to choose from, 3 different ways to go about it. You're going to have war fronts, which is basically going to be alliance versus horde. You basically are going to have a bunch of footmen and they're going to have a bunch of footmen. You guys are going to build a base, and you're going to raid each other.
And now we can't leave out the foot women.
Yes, and the foot women.
You got to be PC
No,
nowadays.
I fucking don't.
I know,
But
right?
anyway, these war fronts are going to be a new way to PvP.
You send the foot women in the kitchen to make sandwiches while the rest of us go out and PvP.
The new expansion, like I said, there's going to be the new game mode of Warfront, and it's going to be groups of 20 players. And it's a freestyle map where you're going to build your place up on Horde and Alliance side and just have at it. You can only do these zones once you are at max level, though. So you have to be level 120 to do these. Here is where they said changes to the PvP system. Now all servers will operate under the same rules of engagement where players can opt in for open world PvP or choose to stay neutral. Opting into PvP will fill your world with other players who have also opted in, keeping like-minded players together. Those who choose to play with PvP on will also get bonuses like extra experience to reward their added risk. That's bullshit.
Kind of like hazard pay.
Yeah, well, you know what? Hazard pay was a fucking joke too. Fucking broke down to being like, what was it, $7 a day? Hazard pay broke down into?
Ooh, that's a nice dinner at Mickey D's.
Yeah, right. But anyway, these upcoming changes, people are going to have to adjust to again. You get adjusted to one thing, then they're changing it up, and you're having to get adjusted to something else. Then they're going to change that up, and you have to get adjusted to something else. They're still trying to find their way. They really haven't figured it out yet, and we're going to start seeing in all these expansions more and more changes until they get something right, which they say this is supposed to be it. This is where they're going to get it right because they're going to be listening to the players. Hello. No, you're not. You're not bringing back the original talent tree, fuckers. Now. Got that off my chest. I just don't see anything other than Alliance and Horde finally going back at it that is going to make this any better than Legion. And the cinematic trailer for this is amazing, by the way. Now let me see if I can find those. Trailers. No. Where are my trailers? Here we are. So anyway, I'm gonna play the trailers for you guys. We're gonna go with cinematic, and we're gonna go with the feature trailers. So.
Ours is a cycle of hatred. Alliances forged and broken. We have paid the price for sharing this world. And we have forgotten what makes us strong.
Close ranks! Advance has won! Lordaeron will be ours! My king, we have her cornered.
Keep firing!
Stand as one for the Alliance!
Now you have to admit that is a pretty good trailer for the expansion. Not as good as Illidan's little cutscenes, but it was still good. It gives you an idea of what the Banshee Queen is capable of. And it gives you an idea of what Anduin is capable of. He's capable of striking an enemy down, and he's capable of healing everything that's around him. You know, Banshee Queen, she's badass, kills everything, and inspires people to kill everything. That's simple. But, Murder, I know you're all Horde. You don't like Alliance at all. You're all Horde. I get that. I'm on the middle, I don't give a rat's ass. I'll play one side, I'll play the other. The same thing. What did you like about that particular trailer for this?
I don't know. I just like the fact that they're going to put it back to Horde versus Alliance instead of, hey, we got to team up and fight this one evil that's trying to destroy our entire world kind of thing. It's like that's fun for a while, but get back to the original us versus them.
Yes, and I totally agree with that. But like I said, everybody's got their sides. You got for the Horde, you have for the Alliance. And either way, it doesn't matter to me. They're both good guys. In my opinion, they're both good guys. Just that it's perspective on both sides. It's the perspective of it all.
Yeah.
But
now my question is, the guy who did the mass res, is that
Anduin.
Why is a warrior mass res?
He's not a warrior.
No. He is a warrior according to the...
He is a priest.
Okay,
he is a
what
priest.
Is he? Why is he wearing plate armor?
That is just because he's king. Okay? But the thing is...
I can't. My priest can't wear plate armor.
I know. I wish mine could too.
But see, here's my problem with it. That being Anduin, two things here. WoW, Blizzard, whoever, has his history, his profile, if you will, and you can look it up and see in multiple places. WoW Wiki, Wowhead, whatever. Has him down as a warrior.
See, and that's his father. Anduin was a priest. And
Anduin Lothar.
Yes.
Yeah, see, they have him scout, knight, fighter, warrior, which I understand is not right. That's my first problem. Second problem is he's a priest. I know he's a priest. My son pointed that out to me the other night. He's like, hey, that's pretty cool priest ability. And I was like, well, that is a pretty cool priest ability, but why is a priest wearing plate?
Yes. And I get what they're trying to show with the plate. The plate armor is a tribute to his father. That's where the plate armor is coming into play.
See, it makes him look more. It makes him look more like a
It does.
pally.
It really, really does. But the thing is if you look at Hearthstone is the prime example of what everybody was in their classes. And he is a priest. And that is just what he is. Now, he does carry his father's sword, and he is wearing the plate armor of his father. Now, I don't think that was his father's plate armor, but, they made new plate armor for him to represent his father's plate armor.
Yeah. Now, my nephew is messaging me in Discord. He's in Discord with us listening. He brought up a pretty good point. Because it seems like, according to the history, he's one thing. According to his profile, the wiki, the however you want to look at it, he's another thing. The way he looks on the screen in that trailer is another thing. It seems like a lot of people are confused, but he brings up a good point. He could be a holy pally. They wear plate, they mass res, they heal.
That is true. I just go by what I've seen in the stories of him, his history.
Oh no, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying the way they make it look, it's kind of confusing. But he makes a good point. He could be a holy pally. He looks more like one.
Now, if you look at his when he looks at the sword and he tosses the sword down, you see he doesn't even try to put the plate helm back on. You see all that.
Yeah.
My theory behind that is it's too much for him. It's not who he is. That's who his father is. And that's why you see the tears in his eyes when he calls down the healing ability from the sky. You know what I mean? That's why you see those tears. There are tears in his eyes. They do kind of roll out of his eyes. So it's not like, it's something else. And that could be a possibility too, is I'm being kind of forced to do this as my father would have. I'm not my father. I am myself. And maybe in the storyline, when we go further on into the Battle for Azeroth, that stuff becomes stripped away, and he does wear his robes. He does keep his cloth armor on, and shows us what he is made of that way.
Yeah, well, that makes more sense. That makes a lot of sense. But like I said, for
everybody else,
I say, there's always new people to this game. There always is, which for a lot of us older players sometimes becomes a problem. 12-year-olds jumping into the game for the first time, buy the expansion. Oh, look, I'm all of a sudden level 100 and something, and I really don't have a clue how to fucking play.
Yeah.
But for somebody just coming into the game, they're like, oh, this looks cool. I like that trailer. They may not understand what he is. The Banshee Queen, it's a little confusing if you don't understand the full history of Warcraft. It's a little hard to understand what she is, because technically she's a hunter.
But she is technically a void elf.
She is, she is, oh hell, what's her name? I forgot her name.
Sylvanas Windrunner? Windstrider? Sylvanas? Yeah.
So for people that, just kind of starting into the game, just getting to know the game, it may be a little confusing to tell who or what she is. But overall, as a trailer, I thought it was really good. Great animation, real clear, high quality, HD graphics, almost looks like real people.
Well, I like the fact that they used her ability all the way through. When she transformed, came down, and all of those guys became engulfed into her, like a drain, like her cloud drain that she's doing, and drains the life from them. And as she's standing up and she's bringing her hands up, all the life comes from them and just right to her. And I was like, oh, applaud, goosebumps, you know. I like those types of graphics that they put out there for the game. I just really, really wish there were animations like that for when you bring up a special attack or something of the sort. It puts out some kind of a, you know, that feeling that you would get from what you've seen her do. You know what I mean? You're playing a character that's similar to her, like you're playing a Void Elf and you're doing your thing, and then all of a sudden, you know, you hit that one sweet talent that you have, and you get that animation from that talent as you kill that, you know, monster or whatever, or you kill that boss. That would be badass.
Well, let me ask this.
Which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is my nephew. In case anybody's wondered who's talking here.
I guess the only problem I have with the new war chief, I guess it's the new war chief, Sylvanas Windrunner, is you can't. She was technically the leader of the undead, right?
Technically, yes.
She was like, whenever you do for the Alliance or for the Horde achievement, killing all the leaders of the opposite faction, for the Undercity, you would kill her. So my question is, you can't use her. She looks nothing like the undead. I guess I don't know.
That's because she's a void elf.
It just feels like she's not very.
She's
undead.
a void elf, and that's where they're bringing in the void elves, but putting them on the Alliance side, because the main void elf you'll be dealing with is supposed to be Sylvanas' sister. That, you know, so they're going to have that rivalry there of sisters. Supposedly, that's how it's supposed to play out.
And do you feel like in all the, you know, those little cut scenes that you get, especially when you hit level 100 and you, it's like the first mission you get, you fight on the broken shore or whatever it's called. And this is when the King of Stormwind dies. Do you ever feel that every single time you hear, don't let the Horde die today, do not let the Horde die, the Horde will persevere? It always feels like the Horde is on the verge of breaking in every single
Well, the thing is, since the Horde had forged alliances with all the different races that are under the banner of the Horde, there's always been a fracture point. There's always been a fracture point there. It's going to fracture one way or the other. But on the same side, or excuse me, on the other side with the Allegiance, there's always been one there too, but not as great as it is on the Horde side. So there's internal conflict on both sides, and it's just what it is. There's no way to fix any of that. Now in the cutscene, when the troll war chief, I never remember his name, when he's sitting there dying, and he tells her, Vol'jin, thank you. He tells her, I never trusted you. He goes, I would never, ever think of even choosing you, because he didn't trust her. But the spirit said she is needed. Well, there is a need for her type of character now. That's why she is now the war chief. Whereas I honestly thought that they should have brought Bloodhoof in to be war chief. But I see why they bring her in, because she's going to do those dirty things that Bloodhoof wouldn't do.
Yeah, she's dirty.
Yeah, she's in the shower.
All right, cool. Yeah, it makes a lot more sense.
There's a lot behind all of this when it comes down to it and you look at it. I just hate that in certain aspects they're trying to reinvent the wheel to incorporate younger audiences. Where there have been
Yeah, I noticed that with every single change, there's always been something to help make things easier. There's been boosting.
Yeah.
You can now boost to 90, 100, that, and then you get these people in raids who just boosted a character. They may have been playing the game for maybe 2-3 months, never been in a raid before, and they don't even know their class. And so that's been a big problem.
It is. It really, really is. In my personal opinion, they shouldn't allow people to boost them to those levels until they have played that class to at least half the level of what the boost is supposed to be.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe like 60 or 70, maybe until they can, at least get most of their spells, most of the basics,
and learn those,
so they can at least learn.
and learn those things. Yes, and I agree 100% wholeheartedly on that one. But at what expense are we having to pay for all this now? I mean, we're losing out on real talent for the game, because now you have to give people a level 120 or a level 110 or a level 100 or a level 90. You have to give them that in order for them to come in and play the game. And all of us who have busted our asses on these characters and put in so many hours of grinding with these characters to get them to where they're at, and now you got these guys who have never played the game in your raid, screwing up your raid. I mean, and to the point of you're wiping. I don't think they should allow that.
Yeah, I think there should be like some achievement or something you have to complete in order to be in a raid as a boosted character, just to show that you have
do
learned
the job. Yes,
yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, because without knowing the raid mechanics, like you can wipe a raid every single time. One guy could take out the entire raid just by not doing one
especially
thing.
A healer.
So
especially
easy
a
to do.
healer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, damn
Yeah,
healers.
right. Well, it's
always
well,
my
and
fault.
it's like I told Murder. I said I've leveled every character I've got to at least level 90. There's some that I haven't made to 90, but I do have every class except Shaman level 90. Shamans have been the boon of my existence because I have tried, and I have tried, and I have tried, no, bane of my existence, excuse me. I have tried to level them, and I fall asleep in the starting areas trying to level them.
I do that with mages.
That's what Murder said. So
I just can't level those.
So yeah, that's that is a thing that I think that there should be some sort of workaround. Oh, and by the way, the new character classes, or not character classes, the new character races will be starting out at level 20 when you get to them. Level 20. And you will have to go and do a quest line to get to them. So, that being said, it's gonna suck. Again, they're giving away things to people. They're telling them, oh, well, just do this quest line and we'll give you a free level 20 character of this race. No. I understand why they did it with Death Knights. I understand the Death Knight portion. I understand the Demon Hunter portion. That is it. With these other races, no, I don't see it. There's just no way.
Look, it's probably going to take you a couple hours to do the quest line to get to these races. I can run a character to level 20 in 2 hours.
I know.
So I mean, the amount of time it will take you to do the quest line to get them, you'd have, if they just gave them to you right off the bat, you'd have it to level 20 anyway.
Well, they did say they are making these harder. They're giving more health pools to the monsters and stuff, so that's going to make the job harder. They are taking away stats on the heirlooms at low levels, so they're going to be making it more difficult for you to level. And if you're not flagged PvP, it's even going to be more of a shitstorm that you can't level as fast as those guys who are leveling at PvP.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
So I'm going to go to the features trailer. We're going to watch this little feature trailer.
All right.
My father once told me that peace was like a dream. Beautiful, ephemeral, unattainable. I didn't listen. No one listened. We've made kindling from our suffering, stirred the embers of resentment, just waiting for a single spark to set the whole world aflame. As the Alliance returns to forgotten kingdoms, the Horde seeks the might of an ancient empire. We cannot dream any longer. The time has come to call on allies willing to join the fight, to rally beneath the banners of a world at war.
Yeah, so that particular trailer gave you pretty much the idea of what's going to happen. I mean, it looks like an RTS for that 20-man situation where you got to build up your base, get it fortified, keep it from being taken over by the Horde or the Alliance, whichever side you're playing on, and then going from there. I really do think that that is some of the old, Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3 style gaming. Being able to plunder those other areas, that's going to be pretty cool too, because you're going to be plundering against Horde or Alliance, whichever side you're playing on. So whoever gathers the most resources, guess what? They win. And so you've got not only your opposing faction of, Horde or Alliance, but you also got all the monsters and NPCs that are on those islands already that you have to go against as well. So I think that's going to make for some interesting gameplay. What says you, Murder?
Yeah, I mean, it seems kind of like one of the ones they tried in, I think it was during Lich King, when they first started introducing the destructible walls and stuff, and you had to go, assault the other person's base and try to break in and push them back further.
That was in Northrend at the very top. I was just there with my damn hunter the other day.
But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how much different it is.
Yeah. That being said, I really like the aspect of being able to have a procedurally generated island set. So every time you go back, it's a little different here, different there. So it's not always the exact same thing. I really do like that idea.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I am kind of ecstatic for the vanilla servers, because supposedly vanilla servers are coming back. Blizzard is going to be hosting these, so apparently we're going to get our old talent trees back and playing on these servers. So keep a lookout for me going back to one of the vanilla servers and giving it a good check over. See how fun it is.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to them coming out with the strawberry servers personally.
Oh, come on, man. I like my vanilla. I know you like vanilla too. You just don't want to say it in front of all these people.
I like vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. Cherry's my favorite, really.
I would have to say mine's gotta be sherbet, bro. Raspberry sherbet or lime sherbet.
Raspberry's good.
So, if anybody got...
So, everybody email Blizzard and tell them we need raspberry servers.
And what you're going to get back is you're going to get a server that every time you try to log into it, it's going to go... I would totally figure a way to get that done. So when everybody goes to log in to that raspberry server, it just goes, and you don't get in. Because that would be kind of funny, though.
Yeah.
So does anybody have any questions so far? Oh, Wicked, what's going on, brother?
What's up, Wicked? Sorry.
You are... not late. You're early for tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're going to have a show starting tomorrow, 2 o'clock. You can catch us on that one. Then we're going to have an announcement tomorrow after the show. We're going to hash out everything tonight between me and Murder about what's going to happen here and there, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. Hey, it's early for tomorrow. Sweet. The show will be at 2 o'clock, 1400 Eastern Standard Time. So bring your friends and all that out.
If you don't have any friends,
go borrow some from, from somewhere. Go hire a bunch of homeless people. I'm sure they can use the money. Going over what we did today, we're going to go over again tomorrow, so it's not a big deal if you missed anything wicked. We're going to do it all over again tomorrow. And it will not be a vodcast. It will be us actually doing this over again.
Yes, because we love repetitiveness.
Oh, definitely. Why do you think we play Warcraft?
We love repetitiveness. I don't know if anybody caught that.
Yeah. Oh. So anyway, peeps, keep a lookout for us tomorrow. We will be back here. Oh, they tried to charge you with kidnapping. We'll be back again tomorrow. And we do appreciate you all stopping by. It means a lot to us when you guys do come in and converse with us and take back from what we give to you and maybe share that knowledge on with somebody else. No, programming computers is not repetitive. Because sometimes you misspell one word and you didn't respell it on the last one, and that computer then takes a dump on you, and the other one's working fine, and you're going to sit there and scratch your head like, what the fuck? So,
if you're going to have more than one computer taking a dump on you, make sure you have a cup handy.
yes. 2 computers, 1 cup.
I have to keep bringing that up because Grim said it's his favorite video.
God. I'm telling you, my kids ruined me on that one. So, alright, peeps. We're going to be out for now. We do appreciate you all stopping by. And it is like we always say, friends don't let friends game alone. Peace.